Do you know what day it is today, Toby?
Other than Sunday, no.
No, it's Sunday.
There's
nothing
big
else.
Quiz question.
That's the big quiz question of the day.
I got a point. Great, yeah.
Congratulations, you win. Right, end of podcast. Right, okay. So, actually, no. One thing it's the Sunday 1 week after the MTV Movie Awards.
Right.
We were recording last week, and we may or may not. I think we probably mentioned it. The awards were on the evening we were recording, so they have happened. We do have the results in, so we'll go back and see how many we got right and wrong out of the winners, and maybe have a few ruminations on who won, why they won, if they were good winners, and so forth.
I did see one or two, but I'm looking forward to the full array.
I have them. I have my notes to the side of me,
yes.
so we will have a look through shortly. But without further ado. What's been going on this week?
Well, quite a lot of highlights actually.
Okay.
I'll just start with. I went back to watch a little bit of a classic from yesteryear called "Escape to Victory." After you sadly missed the big match last year, it made me feel very guilty.
You'd watched the biggest match of all time in film.
Yes. So we did chat afterwards about this film, and I thought I'd go and watch it. And I've got a list of delights of it.
I mean, I just remember it in terms of a number of brilliant. Well, I mean,
it's bonkers, really.
A cast of the premise is it's a bunch of POWs having a football match with the Nazi guards. That's essentially the premise, isn't it?
The German team. The German national team.
It's the German national team.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
They play in a big stadium in Paris.
Oh, okay.
And it's Michael Caine.
Yeah, Pele's in it, isn't it?
Yeah, Bobby Moore.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone
is
the goalkeeper.
Which is a classic bit of casting. It's great. And he shines in it. I think it's one of his best films, actually.
Stallone?
Yeah.
Better than Rocky or Rambo?
I really like Rocky 7, but other than that, I think it's my favourite Stallone film.
One of his greatest moments. This is the American goalkeeper.
Yeah, and Kane's good, obviously, as he usually is, and of course you've got the classic Pele over what do you call it?
The bicycle kick.
Bicycle kick,
which I think it might be partly due to that film, which is why that particular form of bicycle kick is, I think, in America known as the Pele.
Right.
On the back of him performing that bicycle kick in this, or Victory, just as it was called in the United States.
And it's wonderfully filmed. I mean, often with sports films, it's all very quick. But what was one of the delights of this is that you see Pele in action. They're not doing quick cuts to hide the fact that he can't now play. He could still play in 1981, I can tell you.
Yeah.
And a lot of the players obviously playing in that game could. It's really wonderfully filmed, and he directed all the soccer scenes, by the way, as well.
What Pele did?
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's quite interesting. That's very interesting. So, how was his acting in the film? I don't remember it too well.
It's really good. He had maybe 3 main lines, and he delivered them just with. He's got a great voice, actually, and a real charm. That was one of the delights.
He did go on to a bit of voiceover work, selling Viagra pills, if memory serves, a bit later in life. Any other mentions?
Where do you want me to start? I've seen
films. Should we do films?
Should we do films? Should we just chat about
new films,
girls or something? I've seen one new film, which was another highlight of the week, which was John Wick.
John Wick. Okay, this was out 2 weeks ago in the UK, something like that, isn't it?
It's actually came out. It's had a sort of re-release thing going on, where I think it was released quite a while ago in America, but we won't perhaps dwell on that. But it is out in the cinemas at the moment.
Starring Keanu Reeves.
So did it get on my wick, or did Keanu, aka John, deliver the goods? Yes, he did.
He did
indeed. With sort of expert hitman authority. Yes.
Okay. Is this
quite violent?
One of his better performances?
Yeah, he's
because I think was it 47 Ronin he was in? Was it last year? You know, the one
was
like one of the biggest crashes of sort of budget.
He's redeemed himself definitely within this film. very stylistic. His physicality is really good, and that's what they dwell on. It's very simply filmed. There's not lots of fast editing. It was interesting because I actually went to watch. There's a terrific scene, or very dynamic scene in this film in a nightclub, and I went to watch a similar scene in Collateral, which Tom Cruise was in from 2004, and it was interesting to compare the editing style, and this one is far superior.
So, just out of interest, because I
just
found
stays on the action.
Yeah. Well, this is actually
and
really
you just
interesting
see Keanu doing his stuff.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
So, this is actually quite an interesting question, because I found this out just as I was making my notes for this section, all of about half an hour ago. How did you rate the action scenes and so forth? Was it some of the best
notch?
you've seen?
I mean, it's grim if you kind of think of it in a literal sense. There's a lot of people being shot, basically. Also, I loved it that they were doing judo. He was doing quite a lot of judo, which is quite interesting, because normally in these sort of action films they're doing sort of karate and it's cutting really quickly, so you can't quite see what they're doing. But he's doing judo, and I used to do judo as a kid, so I really liked seeing that old school fighting.
Indeed. Well, I mean, I think the thing that I found quite interesting, it's really good to hear you say that, is that I think it's the first time director, Chad Stahelski.
Yeah.
Who is a former stuntman. That was when I went down IMDb. I thought, I haven't heard of that director before.
No,
it had like 71 films, loads of really big films. Like, this guy didn't direct these films. Then looked up and it said stunts across the top.
Right.
So he's been in some of the biggest films in the last sort of 10, 15 years as the stuntman or the stunt coordinator.
So
he's seemingly, from what I see, there's 2 names listed on John Wick, and the other name, I thought, I don't recognise that guy either. Maybe he's a director who's been giving me advice. Clicked on him, and again, another stuntman. So it's been essentially directed by 2 very well regarded stuntmen in Hollywood as their first directorial debut.
Well, they absolutely nailed the choreography. It's
and
balletic,
probably,
and
probably explains it.
Yeah, they've got the right man for it.
Well, I mean, the Keanu Reeves thing, again, interesting link. When I looked down Chad's list, he was the guy who was Keanu Reeves' stunt double in the first Matrix.
Okay.
So that may be where the networking first started to get him in.
Right.
So he's worked his way up the ladder, and obviously they've gone in to now direct a film, and it sounds like they've obviously not tried doing anything they're not too used to, and gone, we're very good at choreographing action, so that's what we're going to do.
But also, what raises this above, it's got a very much a graphic novel feel to it. It's in an underworld where they use gold coins, and there's a network going on with a hotel where you can't do any business. So it's all about hitmen. I mean, goodness knows, Hollywood's so fixated with doing hitmen films.
Yeah.
But and you wouldn't really want to be there. But Keanu Reeves does raise it a bit, because he has a kind of look and a spiritual presence, which it's a bit like kind of the Dalai Lama with an Uzi, That's what it kind of ended up feeling. He's got a serious thing. I mean, and I don't want to give the plot away. I mean, if somebody hasn't, don't go and see the trailer, which we're going to talk about trailers. Yeah. I haven't actually seen the trailer, but just don't, because it's a very simple story. It's the vengeance genre, effectively, and the little bits of detail will be added extra bonuses to enjoy it as you're watching it. So don't go see the trailer, because they'll probably give them all
advice to watch if you haven't done so already. If you're going to the cinema and haven't seen it, then it's something to go for.
It's a corker.
I've got on my note again, Link, we mentioned trailers briefly already. Did you watch The Fault in Our Stars? Was it last week? Which links in again to the MTV noms, which we're going to cover in a second. In fact, do you want to talk about that in relation to the fact that the MTV Awards did happen last Sunday, and The Fault in Our Stars did a pretty good job at picking up Movie of the Year.
I didn't see the comprehensive list of winners, but I did see that I saw a headline saying The Fault in Our Stars had done well, and I thought I'd been meaning to watch that, so I went to watch it, and it's not my favourite film, but another little highlight of the week. I thought it was really good. The story really engaged me totally. I wanted to find out what happened. The main star, I don't know if you've got his name or if he won any of the awards, but
let's have a look.
he verged. I mean,
Ansel Elgort.
Oh God, okay. I mean, the whole film veered towards a sort of smoltz wire often, and sometimes dashed across it, but it sort of zapped back with the concepts that the whole film brings up, which is the importance of being and the idea of oblivion as well. I mean, they're quite deep, but it does it quite well.
Okay.
He tends to get a little bit soapy and awful, the main character, but he's okay, and he at the end he drags it back, and you're with it.
Okay, so quick link then into the MTV Awards. Obviously, as we established, we went through this whole thing a few weeks ago, and we looked at the nominees list when they were first released.
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah.
Basically, this film is a bit of a teen female fantasy.
That's exactly
of
what
the
I was.
ideal man.
That's exactly where I was heading with this.
And you think, oh, how do you do that? And what is he the ideal man? Oh God, I'm
Well, it's like the viewing
I've
public of
messed up
MTV. That's what they're after.
Yeah.
When then that was precisely the question I was asking. Obviously,
Right.
MTV Movie Awards is going to be primarily voted by American teenage girls.
Right.
Does it? Can you see it? Does it feel to you like it fits that archetype quite nicely? Which is, well, presumably it does, because it did win the Movie of the Year.
Right. Okay. I didn't.
And
okay,
should I say over American Sniper?
Yeah. Well, that's
maybe not quite
surprising.
one for the teen girls quite so much.
I did go back. I did go and watch the trailer for this, having watched the film.
Yeah.
And I tell you, if I'd seen the trailer before this film, I would not have touched this with the barge pole, scaffold pole, any pole, pole vault pole, nothing. I'd have just kept well clear of it. It's a terrible trailer.
Okay, but a good, fairly good film.
Good film.
Okay. So we've pretty much touched on Movie of the Year. I'll mention I did make a note as well. I went back through our last recording and made a note of what me and you went for guess wise in this as well. So said Movie of the Year, Fault in Our Stars as discussed. 1. You went for American Sniper. I went for Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. I did mention Fault in Our Stars. I'm going to give myself a tiny bit of credit for that one, but kind of went for the historical Hunger Games victories over the potentially superior Fault in Our Stars.
When did you mention Fault in Our Stars? In what context?
When we were discussing who was going to win these awards a few weeks ago.
Yes, you have done
but,
that.
Yeah, the history of Hunger Games winning previous years, I valued that more. But fortunately, I can give credit to the voting public. The superior film did get the award, which was nice. So anyway, next one was Best Male Performance, and fortunately, you kept with the coup, and he delivers.
They kept with the coup. Finally, somebody's listening.
It was good, and both me and you went for that, so that's a tick up for both of us on that one.
But did you see the actual awards? They look terrible.
Yeah, they are very tacky.
Coke,
they're very tacky.
Cups with a kind of horrible glittery rubbish on the top. It was
I get the feeling it's supposed to be
I
like
wouldn't
a
know what
popcorn.
to do with that award.
Put it in the cupboard. Use it as a doorstop, maybe. I mean, it probably isn't that heavy. Yeah, they're not good awards. Best female performance was another win for Fault in Our Stars, Shailene Woodley.
Okay, yeah, she's quite good.
I stuck on the historical line and went Jennifer Lawrence in the Hunger Games again. Didn't win, and you went Reese Witherspoon, as you have done along. Still no awards for Reese, unfortunately.
No, poor Reese.
But deserved winner. Having seen The Fault in Our Stars, good performance.
Yes, it was.
Cool. Okay. Breakthrough performance was Dylan O'Brien of The Maze Runner, which you nailed.
Hey!
You got that one bang on.
Another one for the Stew Review Awards.
Yep. Some mark up for Toby's. Yeah. I went Rosamund Pike with Gone Girl, so I was a bit wrong there. So you're currently 2-1 up.
We're
2-1 up in the competition.
Okay, we're competitive now.
Okay. So next one was Best Scared. The first one I complained about the awards for. Strangely enough, Jennifer Lopez took that for The Boy Next Door. Have you even watched that film? I imagine
no,
probably is not one that you'd be seeking out.
No.
I've distinctly got to note it down. I didn't make a prediction because I didn't care.
No, I don't think I did.
You went Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's like Nightmare. She's even worse than my last girlfriend. Yeah. Terrible.
Best on-screen duo.
And that's saying something.
It's I think the first appearance for Zac Efron in the list, and took it. Fortunately, I didn't go down the neighbours route. I mean, I remember commenting at the start that basically if Zac Efron appears, he wins.
Yeah, you've always said.
However, we decided to go
up
for
for-
quality over the Zac Efron
context
effect
as well. I think it was.
we went 22 Jump
emphasis.
Street, but it was Neighbours with Efron and Franco took best on-screen duo.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, we went.
I was thinking shirt off. I'm already
Oh
going
no,
to shirt off.
no! I know it's really, really
in a
important.
homoerotic way. Yeah,
But yeah, fortunately, this one,
No.
as
it's a
expected.
much better duo.
Undoubtedly, best shredder performance. Zac Efron. Took
Yeah.
it was the shoe-in, the one everyone was expecting. Toby, for some reason, went for Chris Pratt.
Yeah, well, it was in the context of the film. It was much better. It was good, and he was really good in it.
He was a worthwhile.
He did it
performer.
in a stylish way, which wasn't, look at me. It was just, and he had that tone.
But
of
the
him in
other
whole
one's Zac
film.
Efron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've picked the teen sort of mindset there much better. Than
Yep. We're up to 2-2 again. Up to 2-2 now, I think, in the list.
Yeah, I'm getting that from your smile that you're going to get another one and beat me on this.
Well, you might be able to see my notes if you're looking at my shoulder.
No, I'm not. He's smiling away. He must have got one more than me.
Best fight.
Giveaway.
Best fight. I didn't actually make a mention of this, so I didn't even put myself in the running. You went Jonah Hill and Gillian Bell in 22 Jump Street. Yeah. It was actually Dylan O'Brien and Will Poulter in The Maze Runner. Seen it?
Yeah.
Was there a fight worth watching?
No, it wasn't. It was.
It's a bad decision then. Bad voting decision.
No, it was bland and rubbish.
Okay, so one down for the MTV Movie Awards then. Best kiss was
I didn't have a clue on this
Ansel Elgort and Shailene Woodley in The Fault in Our Stars, which was my pick.
Okay.
But you hadn't watched The Fault in Our Stars
by
by that point, and I think you fairly blasé mentioned Johansson and Chris Evans in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
I did a wild guess in the stab in the dark, wild guess for that one. But I would say that was probably the
had you seen that film before making the predictions, you may well have picked it. WTF moment again. I was a bit too annoyed with the title, so just decided to not say anything. You went Jonah Hill in 22 Jump Street. Was he falling for a train or something? Or I don't know what.
Yes, I was a bit vague on this, but yes, on a truck. I think.
Yeah, on a truck. Oh, right. Well, it was another Neighbours victory with Seth Rogen and Rosie Byrne. Yeah, don't worry. It's a rubbish category. We don't need to.
I didn't like that film.
Villain. Obviously, you went Martin Sokas, who wasn't in the list. We both ended up saying J.K. Simmons, but it was strange enough, right? Meryl Streep with her crazy wig and crazy hair.
Oh right, okay.
Won the best villain. Okay. So I'm presuming you're guessing not to deserve it in the slightest.
She was pretty good actually.
Okay. Moving on.
But it's quite cartoonish, but she was quite effective.
Musical moment. I'll just run through his musical moment. Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games got its award finally for musical moment. I don't know if rings any bells.
Remember it? No, I found that film
didn't get that one.
Dulling
anyway.
And,
yeah, not great.
Ineffectual.
Best comedic performance we both got right with Channing Tatum in 22 Jump Street.
Good.
Best on-screen transformation, amazingly enough, wasn't Corral in Foxcatcher or Redmayne in The Theory of Everything. It was Elizabeth Banks in Hunger Games. Ring any bells? Care?
Is she the
I've got no idea. I haven't watched it.
No, I think I know who.
This can't be up there with Corral's Foxcatcher role anyway. There's some other awards we didn't quite mention. Best hero was Dylan O'Brien in The Maze Runner. Strangely enough,
that's worthwhile. Yeah.
Strangely enough, we had their favourite character of the year was Baymax, Hero in Baymax in Big Hero 6.
Excellent.
Which I think we gave an award for best protagonist in our own awards. Yeah. So that was nice to see.
Sweet and unusual hero. Yeah.
Yep. And then the last thing was best cast, which I think in our own awards we had a very similar one.
Oh, did they do best cast?
They did, yeah. They gave it to Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, we went for The Imitation Game, which didn't even appear on the list. Anyway, I did tot up these our guesses. In the end, I did take victory 4-3 on the guess run. That's the important thing.
What a surprise.
Most important thing is a stunning victory in the MTV Awards.
You.
Having kind of, anyway, that's them done. Don't need to talk about that now. We've got about 10 more minutes.
And dusted.
Let's start talking about trailers, because
do that.
the thing that comes before every film, obviously the idea is to encourage you to go to the cinema and watch what's coming out. They can be done very well, they can be done very badly. I think would you be happy to go along with the premise of basically saying, on average, the closer to the present day you get, generally the better quality the trailer is, as a general
Sometimes
thing.
there's some very interesting historical examples.
Well, shall we get on to first? Because I imagine you're going to be mentioning Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, can I just say the first time I remember watching a trailer when I didn't mind watching trailers was back in... I remember the trailer back in 1993 for Dumb and Dumber, laughing loads, thinking, I want to go and see that film. And then going to see it and seeing that there was only one other joke that hadn't been
done in the trailer.
Yeah. And I just thought, well, yes, they've done a good job because they got me to the cinema.
But then they ruined it by the time it arrived.
The rest of it was a load of guff, really. So,
I did go back and watch that.
Since then, I've tried not to watch trailers, but occasionally I'll come across them. And for this...
you have... Yeah, I mean, I've been watching far too many trailers in the last few weeks.
I'm trailered out.
It gets, I mean, there's something slightly addictive though, because you're sort of sat at home for 5 minutes, your mind starts to wander, you think, what about the trailer for that film? And you just end up watching those. But I know what you mean with Dumb and Dumber, because I did go back and watch that, and it was a good trailer, and it did contain some pretty good jokes. Obviously, the disappointment is that was all the good jokes in the film, pretty much.
And I've seen some lovely recent ones that have renewed my confidence in trailers. When they've been done really well.
Okay. Well, should we go back to the early days?
Yep.
As mentioned just a second ago, because said Hitchcock did some interesting things with the notion of the trailer, especially for
Very
Psycho,
much.
which I actually really, really enjoyed that trailer.
Yeah.
It was really good fun. But do you want to go through what...
Yes, and you can join in. He hams it up. He's just basically walking around the set, and then he'll say, some terrible things happened here, but let's not stay, because so he hams it up and then moves on, and so you see nothing of the film. And it's very intriguing.
He's just walking around the set, isn't he? He kind of goes from the motel, and he goes into the house and goes up the stairs. This is the old lady's bed.
This is where she broke her back, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was really, it was really, really fun. It was
the way her body was contorted. Let's not stay here, and he moves on.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that was in my mind the whole time around, it was either he's kind of like the world's worst real estate agent. Doing an incredibly bad job of trying to sell you this property and motel, and just is constantly fixated about murders happening.
Yes, he does like his murders. Hitchcock.
Or it was kind of like sort of one of the darkest episodes of Through the Keyhole that anyone would see.
He does a similar thing with Frenzy, which was one of his later films.
Yeah, he did one with I watched one of him doing the birds funny. As well, where he's kind of sitting down to eat a chicken or something, and then getting a bit off put by the notion of the birds.
Yes, waffling about birds.
I thought Psycho was very, very interesting. I mean, it has its faults, just in the notion that Hitchcock isn't the greatest actor in the world, but the premise and the way it was carried out was really interesting. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, it is worth going back, because it's a very intriguing
and I don't think
take.
any other. I could be wrong, but I don't think any other director has done.
You've got to have some balls to try and pull off, or you've got to have a lot of integrity in your own work to try and pull off that kind of trailer. And they said, I haven't seen it done anywhere else. Well, I mean, there's probably someone else has tried it, but it's worth digging out and having a look at anyway. Do you want to randomly pick a few other favourites or unfavourites?
Alien is good.
Mm-hmm.
There's two different versions. One is completely oblique and very, very minimal, and then one extends it a little further. I don't know why they included a couple of shots of a cat in that's sort of snarling, but they don't show the alien, which is one of the key things that we want to
indeed, which actually we might get onto on one of the forthcoming trailers, which we'll mention in a minute. I mean, I watched it, I quite liked it. I mean, it generally captured the whole theme of what you were coming to watch, which is a lot of people running quite frightened down very small corridors, quite a lot. Basically that is essentially what Alien is. It's Sigourney Weaver running around very small corridors with very eerie music playing.
Yeah, and I
about,
don't.
you know,
I wondered if they used it. I've got two examples of where they have different music for the trailer. I don't think they use the main theme for the Alien trailer in sorry, for the main film in the trailer, and it works. It's a good bit of music. They also do that in the Magnificent Seven trailer, which is a classic. It's like
classic in a good way.
Kitsch and yes, and they wrote a kind of completely new song that they don't.
Oh,
use
really?
in the film.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
It's very naff, but it's fun as well.
Okay,
you know.
right. Shall I just give a few more mentions to good and bad that I saw?
Yep.
I won't go through them in too much detail. Did you? I don't know if did you watch the Groundhog Day trailer in the end? I thought that was atrocious. If you didn't,
I don't think I.
basically, if you
want
want to watch how to make a trailer really badly,
and
Groundhog Day.
yeah.
Well, it shows everything. They don't even get the point of the movie right. They dress it up as a romantic comedy, which it isn't. It's just an awful trailer. It's just like someone said, make a trailer for this. Here's a bit of footage. Whatever you do, don't watch the film, because if you watch the film, you might get it right. And it's just an absolute travesty.
That was a delight of seeing that film without knowing anything about it, and certainly not.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the film is as brilliant as the trailer is terrible. I thought,
Shining.
The Shining. Yeah, I did watch. That was
classic.
good. That was. I did enjoy that
He
one.
just used one dramatic clip. You don't know what the film's about, and it just says who's in it, and has a huge river of blood coming out of a elevator.
Yeah. Okay. And then a couple of ones I've got. I thought Lord of the Rings: Two Towers was very good. I mean, it basically did what it is. Here's a film, and it's damn epic. Look at the massive armies, look at the massive buildings, and you've got Clint Mansell's score from Requiem for a Dream going on in the background as well, which works very, very nicely. Although you did make an interesting point about Gandalf.
It does show that Gandalf comes back, so if you want some emotional surprise, then that gives that away completely, which is ridiculous.
Indeed. And then we did, just before watching this, have a look at the Rambo trailer.
Yeah, which was hilarious.
Absolutely brilliant. Again, if you want to watch someone who precisely knows exactly who's going to watch it, it's like, here's some guy, he's going to get dropped behind enemy lines, he's going to have to blow everything up in the whole of Vietnam, basically, to get out. And there's a great line, it's like, he was told not to engage the enemy, and then it's got a shot of Sylvester Stallone firing machine guns and blowing up stuff with a rocket launcher.
His weapons get progressively bigger.
Yeah, there's a great line of sort of blowing something with a bow and arrow and then picking up a bazooka.
More destructive,
And it's just absolutely brilliant.
Snatch is very good.
Yep.
Really like that.
Yeah, I think it
gives lots of it captures the flavour without giving any of the plot away, which is what you want from a good trailer.
And definitely encourages you to watch the film. And they obviously, unlike Lock, Stock, they get to chuck in the big name actor in Brad Pitt as well, just to go, hey guys, that you can watch. Talking of best shirtless performance, Brad Pitt in Snatch could have been a runner back in the day.
Yeah, sort of gritty
Irish boxing chap. That could have been a good one. Anyway, we're kind of running out of time. I think we need to give a bit of time to this, so let's just ignore the fact we've got 30 minutes past, and because there's at least 3-4 up and coming trailers, which I think we just maybe pass our assessments on. Having these films haven't come out yet, so be quite interesting to hear. Should we start with the biggest one, the one that was released on Thursday, which was Star Wars: The Force Awakens? I think they're on their second trailer now. First one was released all the way back in November 2014. This film isn't being released until December this year.
So, revving it up.
They're giving it the slow burn in preparation for completely. We're going to be flooded with Star Wars material in a few months' time.
I was surprised. I thought it was a bit of a corker, and I'm not a massive fan of the franchise, but it did give me goosebumps actually. And it brought me back to when, and I was wondering whether I had seen it. I'm almost sure I was. I was very young. I was about 7, and I remember getting the early toy versions of lightsabers and having a fight with my brother on holiday in Cornwall. And so I definitely saw it, and the music. I mean, they said that I mean, Disney have obviously bought it, good
and
job.
they do know exactly what they're doing. I mean, it had basically all of the kind of a lot of the classic icons from the earlier Star Wars, you had a bit of the sort of, disfigured Darth Vader mask. Then you had a sort of allusion to Luke Skywalker and his sister, someone passing on the lightsaber in a kind of, sort of symbolistic manner to the new trilogy or whatever of Star Wars.
There's a great reaction video if you YouTube it with Matthew McConaughey, by the way. That's quite good fun.
Well, it's an edit, isn't it? Taken from.
We don't know where it's from, but yeah.
It's off Interstellar. They've kind of. They've taken the footage from of Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar and
I enjoyed that.
Re-edited it to make it look like he's reacting to the new Star Wars trailer.
Most Star Wars fans will probably have been
in tears, in pure delight of seeing the Millennium Falcon and then old Harrison Ford and Chewbacca turning up at the end. But yeah, I think they've tapered it.
I really like seeing Chewbacca. Yeah,
they've tailored it really, really well. Although I feel we are going to be swamped in not too distant future. In fact, actually, at this point, I will happily predict that the number one toy this Christmas is going to be the plastic lightsaber, almost guaranteed. I mean, the Star Wars is coming out, I think, 8th of December or something like that. I mean, they are timing that perfectly for the mass Christmas merchandising.
I expect they'll be better than the ones I had in Cornwall back in the late 70s.
Maybe. Okay, another one, which I think was a good one to look at because you sort of named it as the film you were most looking forward to this year, was Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, they've got several different versions. The first one I thought looked manic and good fun. The second one, it just looks mental actually, and it's I think quite typical of the director, who I've never really liked, George Miller, he's signed as the mastermind of this film. He's got the ego the size of sort of.
That's it, and it's already in terms of cult. I mean, Mad Max is one of the biggest cult films of all time. You're sort of raising yourself above a film franchise that is already very well.
I'm beginning to not really look forward to
the trailer's causing a dip.
Yeah, the second trailer, I just thought, that just looks.
I mean, I watched one of them, and I mean, it did look a bit mad. It was basically just chase scene, shooting, chase scene, shooting. But at
least it's not CGI. They did it all.
You got the idea.
Physically,
I think the idea of basically it being pretty mad, as the name would suggest, is definitely going to be.
Yeah, I'm worrying about the story.
Might be good fun. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the look of the guy who's supposed to be the bad guy. Although I really liked the choice of there's kind of seemed to be a very sort of yellow-orange hue that was seemingly put over all of the shooting. So it was quite popular 10 years ago,
which is quite Australian light.
Yeah,
I mean, it's exaggerated, but it is.
Yeah, because we went through a period 10 years ago where the blue hue filter seemed to be used quite a lot on sort of some of the darker, more storyline-driven films, and it's quite nice to see. You've got the bright orange desert and the sort of bright, almost yellowy blue sky and everything. And that looked. I mean, I think visually it's going to be very stunning. Yeah, in terms of narrative. It's going to be people running around, driving around, blowing up stuff, and everything.
Drive-in film, I think, another one of those things where you just sort of turn off when it's getting boring.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, it'll be interesting to hear if they release any more trailers and you come across them, Toby. How the graph of your expectation goes up and down over the next month or two before its release.
Yeah.
Also, as part of your penance to the failure to remember James Bond soundtracks, had a bit of a look at the Spectre trailer.
Yeah, I had a look at that one. The best part, that complete opposite to the colour hues that you're talking about with Mad Max. I thought it just looked
it's very dark and very empty, wasn't it? There's a certain kind of
word of the week, bland. It looked a bit bland, but at least Christoph Waltz is in there as the baddie. One of my favourite. What a great.
Yeah, it kind of looks to be some kind of head of an Illuminati ring or something along those lines. I kind of feel like, but I don't know. I just saw.
But it was quite good because they didn't really give the plot away. We had our old friend Rafe in there, giving some sort of grave advice in a kind of dimly lit study, which it'd be nice to see his presence in there. But overall, it
didn't do too much. I did get the feeling they might be releasing a slightly more action-packed trailer a bit closer to release day, because it was just basically James Bond there's something dark going on, and he's going to maybe have to sort. Well, he will have to sort it out.
Yeah, maybe they've gone for a sort of different tone where it's a bit more moody. And
yeah, I get the feeling this is probably the pre-runner where they don't want to excite you too much with the action yet, and then maybe just before they're going to then have all the guns going off and James Bond diving out the way of explosions. All
When's that one coming out? Is that?
I would have to check. I think it's still a few months. Yeah, I think it's still a couple of months.
They don't often release them early, don't they?
The old summer blockbusters. And then we've got the last one, which Toby only showed me just before we started this recording, and having seen it, that was probably my favourite trailer of all of the forthcoming ones, which was Jurassic World. Which, well, do you want to go through roughly what happens? Because I just thought the narrative. It's just a brilliant narrative twist on how to raise the game of the Jurassic Park franchise.
Exactly. You know exactly what you're getting. What it says on the tin. This tin that's got a newly created dinosaur in it. Apparently, it's Jurassic Park with bells and balls on. Really,
it's basically. It looks entirely like they basically said, we did this in the mid-90s, CGI dinosaurs, etc. We're basically, we've got better technology. We're just going to do it bigger,
and we
essentially.
got
and
Chris Pratt with a shirt on this time, saying, "Oh, they've developed a new dinosaur. I'm not sure that's a good idea." And that's exactly what you want to know. Like, you think, I want to see the dinosaur in the trailer. They don't show it.
Precisely.
Brilliant.
And I said that is the great narrative
what
twist.
Will draw you in.
I can just imagine the.
You want to see how badass that
I just love the execs who are going to have sat round that table who are like, right, we need to do a new Jurassic Park film. Yeah. So how do we beat T-Rex running around Los Angeles or wherever it was, or T-Rex running around Ireland? Right, so how do we raise the game? Are there any bigger, nastier dinosaurs? And I can't think of any. So basically, we'll genetically modify one, make it 40 foot tall, and have it run rampant.
And it also looks like they have Velociraptor races from one little clip.
Well, so you can't leave the Velociraptor. That was the iconic scene from the first film.
like greyhounds.
Just Velociraptor racing. In fairness, it looked like it was some kind of theme park. So again, why not raise the stakes? Have a bit of Velociraptor racing.
Put your bets on which Velociraptor is going to win.
What would you name if you had a pet Velociraptor? What would you name it?
I don't know. Norman. I don't know.
Okay. Right. Anyway, should we finish off here?
Yes. Goodness me, we've gone over time.
Yeah, we've gone over time. Well, it doesn't matter too much. Said we're not having to commit any obligations to anyone at the moment.
No.
So we basically say, in terms of films out this week, John Wick is a good one to watch.
Absolutely.
In terms of films of the past, if you haven't watched it, Escape to Victory.
Absolutely.
In terms of trailers of the past, Alfred Hitchcock doing his Psycho real estate agent trailer.
Yeah, and if you like a Western, Magnificent Seven.
If you like a Western, Magnificent Seven. And in terms of films upcoming, watch the Jurassic World trailer, just because I don't think the film's probably not going to be that amazing, but the trailer's just hilarious.
Yeah. And watching the Snatch trailer made me want to go back and watch Snatch, although I didn't, but I may do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I saw the Lock, Stock one as well, and I was like, yeah. Well, plus they've got brilliant soundtracks, which also help. Anyway, let's stop there. So goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye and cheerio.